UFC Vegas 105, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. We're going to discuss every single fight on this barn burner of a card. I mean, top to bottom, what a performance by Torrez Finney. What a performance by Talita Alencar. What a performance by everybody on this card. I never want to hear a complaint about an Apex card again. I mean, this was the UFC 300 Apex cards, okay? And that's definitely not sarcasm. So let's start right away with the people's main event. We have Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alencar. Straight up Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prochazka vibes from this fight. First round, Vanessa Demopoulos comes out throwing combinations. Talita Alencar gets her down. There's some scrambles. Demopoulos is looking for submissions, but Alencar is scrambling to stay on top. She's landing brutal ground and pound. Demopoulos able to get up, dumped right back down. Talita Alencar wins the first round. Second round, Alencar comes out. She's a little bit slower, okay? Demopoulos looking to land shots from the outside. Eventually, Alencar gets in on a takedown. Brutal fence grab from Vanessa Demopoulos. Absolutely brutal fence grab. But eventually, Alencar gets her down anyway. There's scrambles. There's jiu-jitsu. There's submission attempts from Demopoulos on the bottom. But to no avail, Talita Alencar stays on top. Second round goes to Alencar as well. And then the third round, all chaos breaks out. Vanessa Demopoulos drops her with the right hand. She starts looking for the finish. She falls into a reverse triangle, but Alencar scrambles out, starts landing brutal ground and pound elbows. Alencar takes the third round as well and takes the decision. I scored it for Alencar as well as the judges. Great fight to open up the early prelims. Next fight on the card, we have Martin Buday versus Uran Satybaldiev. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. This guy stepped in on short notice, and he's actually a light heavyweight. And I know it wasn't in my prediction video because it happened afterwards, but I actually picked Martin Buday. It's on my Tapology. Check it if you don't believe me. I actually had a good night of picks. I think I went 9 out of 12 tonight. I'll flex that a little bit. Martin Buday wins via unanimous decision. And I scored it for him. The first round, Buday landing good leg kicks, clinching up, controlling Satybaldiev, controlling him up against the fence, landing the better shots. Second round, Buday really started busting him up. And I know I don't know if this is a really controversial scorecard. I didn't look at online reaction for this fight. But if it is, or people are claiming Satybaldiev won, it's because he was throwing a lot of long, crisp combinations that were just landing on the guard of Buday. First and second round, I thought were very, very clear for Buday. It wasn't the greatest fight. I mean, he was clinching and holding and using his weight a lot and using that bag of milk physique a lot to control Satybaldiev. And then the third round, similar thing for Martin Buday, but then boom, Satybaldiev, I think he caught him with a right hand. Has Buday like stumbling all around, but then he clinches up. Baldiev starts looking for a takedown, horrible fight IQ, instead of disengaging and looking for the finish. And then eventually they just end up clinching for the rest of the fight. Mike Beltran will break him up. Buday right back into the clinch. I scored third round for Satybaldiev, but it was a clear win for Martin Buday. He gets it done. I mean, I think he kind of dodged a bullet. Kennedy and Zetchu pulled out. I think they'll probably rebook that. I don't know how good this guy is, really. I didn't even look at any fight tape of him. I just looked how small he was and knew he was a light heavyweight and picked Buday in this fight. But he had decent striking, had decent boxing. Light heavyweight's kind of garbage anyway. He was undefeated. I mean, losing to Martin Buday, that's almost enough to put you in witness protection. But, I mean, he stepped in on like 2 days' notice. So, it is what it is. Martin Buday gets it done. Another NPC heavyweight win for Martin Buday. And that's it for this fight. Let's go to the next fight on the card. We have Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. Man, I thought I was going to get it, boys. I picked Pedro Falcao in this fight. I really thought he might win this one. First round was a little rough. It was a competitive round. Back and forth round. I think Falcao might have had one takedown, but Henry scrambled back up. But there was a right hand that dropped Falcao. And then Victor Henry kind of pounced on him a little bit, landed some ground and pound shots, and ended up just kicking his ass on the ground for a little bit. Victor Henry clearly wins the first round. But Falcao did decent in the first round. Landed some decent shots. Landed some good leg kicks in the first round, which then translated to the second round, where Falcao was able to work the wrestling multiple times, get takedowns, get some control time. Henry would eventually scramble out, but Falcao had a decent amount of control time and also was slamming Victor Henry's leg and destroying his leg and was throwing Victor Henry off balance and landing some decent shots. Falcao clear second round, and then he just fumbles the bag in the third. Falcao was completely gassed. Midway through the second round, 3/4 of the way through the second round, stops throwing calf kicks. Victor Henry's clearly compromised on that leg. Does not throw a single leg kick in the third round up until like the last 30 seconds. After he throws it, Victor Henry kind of reacts to it and then literally refuses to fight for the rest of the 30 seconds. I literally think Falcao could have stopped him with leg kicks. But in the third round, Falcao was completely exhausted shooting desperation takedowns. And even like in the second round when he was fresh and getting takedowns in some control time, Victor Henry would find a way to scramble out. You know, Falcao, I believe, had his back in the second round. Third round really wasn't able to have any success with the grappling, any real control time. Victor Henry was just the fresher fighter in the third round, and Victor Henry gets it done. I really thought, man, if he keeps slamming that calf kick, he keeps looking for those takedowns, he wears out Victor Henry will quit like he did in the fight that I cannot remember right now, the Meerschaert fight. I was like, Victor Henry quit before on a phantom groin shot. If Falcao keeps chopping that leg, Victor Henry will probably quit. But nope, Victor Henry sticks it out, wins the third round. I had it 29-28 for Victor Henry, and I believe the judges unanimously scored it 29-28 for Victor Henry as well. But I think Pedro Falcao has improved. I think he's improved. I don't think it was a horrible pick, but Victor Henry gets it done. Next fight on the card, another barn burner. Loma Lookboonmee versus Istela Nunes. Weird fight. Not the greatest fight at all. Boring fight. Istela Nunes kind of wins the first round on the feet, but then gets a takedown. It was kind of even on the feet, then gets a takedown late. Wins the first round, in my opinion. Second round competitive. Lookboonmee gets her down. Ends up where Nunes is like scrambling for submission attempts. I thought Lookboonmee won the second round. Then the third round, Lookboonmee took her down, was controlling her for almost the entirety of the round, and clearly won the third round. So I had it 29-28 for Lookboonmee. The only reason I'm even going that deep into scorecards of this trash fight or a trash Apex card is because Istela Nunes was absolutely floored when the decision was read. She could not believe she lost. I don't even know, like, honestly, a terrible judge could give all 3 rounds to Lookboonmee. I don't even know if they did. I don't remember what the exact scorecards were, to be quite honest. It was a unanimous decision for Loma. Istela Nunes is not UFC material at all. At all. And, yeah, she was absolutely floored that somehow she lost 2 rounds. So, Lookboonmee gets it done. Striking didn't look great. Grappling looked okay. Istela Nunes is garbage. Next fight on the card, we have Rhys McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Man, I picked this. I knew Rhys McKee was going to win. I knew it. There was a couple weird fights. If you watch my prediction video, there was a couple weird fights to pick on this card. This was one of them. Daniel Frunza did not look good on Dana White's Contender Series. Rhys McKee, I think, is a bit underrated because he's lost a bit in the UFC. But he's fought decent opposition. And, man, Rhys McKee went out there and proved exactly what I thought. He was the far better fighter. He rocked him with a right hand early, dropped him bad. I thought the fight was going to get stopped on multiple occasions. He was smashing Frunza, smashing him on the ground. Frunza would normally scramble back up. Dropped him like 4 or 5 times in the first round. I'm like, okay, get the stoppage. But Frunza was scrambling. I mean, I think it was Herzog in there, was giving him every benefit to try to get up. And then he would get up and he would throw back and he would land occasionally. But he wasn't landing with the same amount of damage that Rhys McKee was. Rhys McKee was just touching him up, but just bouncing his head backwards with a jab and hitting him with the right hand and smashing him. And his eye was all swollen. I think it was his left eye. And he took a lot of damage. But towards the end of the first round, I'm not going to say the momentum was changing, but it felt like, okay, this could be the recipe for Rhys McKee gassing out in the late second, and then Frunza coming back and getting a crazy comeback. And then somehow he survives. He makes it to the bell. But in between rounds, the eye's swollen. The lip is completely torn, Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald style. The doctor takes a look at him and says, look, you can't continue. I mean, the lip was just ripped up like that. It was filthy. I don't blame the doctor for stopping it, because how bad can that get? I don't know if he keeps getting punched there. I don't know how bad that would rip, how far that would rip up to. But honestly, even though Frunza was super tough and durable and game in this fight, and he seemed still in it in between rounds, it seemed like he was still game to go out there and fight, and started to build a little bit at the end of the first round. I seen all I needed to see. Rhys McKee was the far superior fighter, was absolutely boxing him up on the feet. And even when McKee was taking shots, he was rolling with them. He wasn't taking them as clean as Frunza was taking Rhys McKee's shot. So finally, Rhys McKee gets a win. It's been a bit, and ends up being a TKO via doctor stoppage. But a lot of these Dana White's Contender Series guys come in, they get fraud checked, as the people say nowadays. And that's kind of what happened here. Rhys McKee gets a win. Next fight on the card, the featured prelim. Oh my God, another barn burner to go through. We have Dione Belbita versus Dione Barbosa. Dione Barbosa, first round arm triangle sub. I'm trying to remember what was my actual pick for this. I think I had Barbosa. I had Barbosa second round sub. I knew I had her sub, but I couldn't remember what round. I think I picked her rear naked. No, I picked her armbar. I actually picked her armbar. Barbosa outclassed her. I mean, Belbita had a couple moments where she would land shots, but her striking looked atrocious. She was eating a right hand. She was eating a lot of straight shots. And then towards the end of the round, like last minute and a half, I think it was, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Last like 2 minutes, Barbosa's like hitting her with shots. Boom, shoots a takedown. Easy takedown. Immediately starts working the arm triangle and finds it rather quickly after taking her down. Belbita does not belong in the UFC. She got submitted by Molly McCann. That's why I picked Barbosa to submit her. Her jiu-jitsu's horrible. Her striking didn't look very good. So, I don't know what you guys want me to say more about this fight, but Dione Barbosa, clearly the way better fighter. Clearly the better striker. Clearly the better grappler. And, this is an Apex card nowadays. So, it is what it is. Dione Barbosa gets it done first round arm triangle. Next fight on the card, the featured, or the main card opener. I almost said the featured fight for some reason. Torrez Finney versus Robert Valentin. Look, there was one judge, Tony Weeks, who had it 30-27. I'm butchering it. There was one judge, Tony Weeks, that had it 30-27 for Robert Valentin. That is a horrific scorecard. That is an atrocious scorecard. I don't care if you didn't like the way Finney fought, okay? He grappled the entire fight. That's all he did was shoot takedowns. Let me just tell you how I scored it first. So first round, I scored it for Finney. Took him down, beat him up. Not a lot of damage, but a little bit of ground and pound. Picked him up, carried him over to his corner, slammed him down. Couple back shots. Did a little bit of ground and pound, nothing crazy. And Valentin landed a couple elbows on the takedown attempts. Finney clearly won the first round. Second round, very similar to the first round. Finney got an immediate takedown. Robert Valentin was looking for an armbar, got slammed off of that. Finney had his back at one point, got shaken off the top, but then immediately got back into the grappling. Robert Valentin was grabbing the fence to stay up. And I had round two. It was pretty clear for Finney. Out-grappled him the entire round. Valentin did no damage. Finney did very little damage as well, almost no damage as well. Then the third round, Finney was really kind of gassed out, looking for kind of shitty takedown attempts, controlling him up against the fence. I think it was Beltran, broke him up on multiple occasions. When they did break, Valentin would do a little bit of damage, but not much. And then on the takedown attempts, when Finney would immediately shoot. As soon as they would break, he would immediately shoot again. Valentin would land some of those kind of under the armpit shots and a couple elbows as well. I scored the third round for Valentin because Finney really wasn't able to get in any real dominant positions on the ground. So I had it 2-1 for Finney. 30-27 for Robert Valentin is absolutely insane and atrocious. And say what you will about Finney. Oh, I don't want his style, blah, blah, blah. I don't like wrestlers, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't a great performance. Third round was absolutely embarrassing and horrific. But to say, oh, I don't like his performance, so I'm okay with a judge brutally robbing him, is absolutely insane and a horrific precedent for the sport. I know he's a boxing judge, and people are like, I had people on Twitter telling me, Joe, you don't know about the scoring criteria. Damage. Valentin did no damage. Don't act as if literally shots underneath the armpit from a weird angle that literally barely land did some crazy amount of damage. He lost the first and second round. Finney did more damage with the takedowns than Valentin did with any of those little under the armpit shots. Third round, okay, Finney really wasn't able to do much. And also, you have to keep in mind, judges have to score effective grappling. They have to score effective grappling, especially when the damage is even. So let's not act like Valentin had. I mean, these people are gamblers, I'm assuming, and they must have bet on Valentin. But people acting like Finney didn't win this fight, it's crazy. Say you don't like the fight. Say it was a shitty performance, but don't act like he didn't win. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to give him a bad stylistic matchup in his next fight because Dana wants to get rid of him already because he doesn't like grapplers. That's why he made him fight on Dana White's Contender Series 3 times. He doesn't have any hands, super one-dimensional, but he gets it done against Robert Valentin. If you think Valentin won, go get your head checked out. You're delusional, and you're just biased against certain styles. And again, it was a shit performance. It was an embarrassing third round. It was a lackluster fight overall. But blame Robert Valentin for not defending takedowns and getting his back off the fence as much as you blame Finney for controlling him there, and blame Mike Beltran for not breaking him sooner. But I really honestly didn't think Beltran was that bad in this fight. I think he did a decent job for what he did here. So Torrez, Finney gets it done via unanimous. It was a split decision. I'm an idiot. I just went off about the judges' scorecard. Yeah, one judge had a 30-27. Delusional. I don't know why I messed that up. Anyway, next fight on the card, we have Osbourne versus Louis Gurule. Osbourne gets a second round KO. Absolutely filthy finish for Osbourne. First round, was way faster. If you watch my prediction video, I was kind of flirting with the idea of picking because Gurule didn't really look that good. Was looking better, was looking faster, was landing better shots. Gurule was landing some decent leg kicks, then got like a big slam takedown, had some control time, did some ground and pound, landed some elbows. Osbourne got back up like the last 10, 15 seconds, and there was a big left hand from Gurule. I thought Gurule took the first round. I'm like, okay. I said this in my live stream. So Osbourne's like elite for the first 2 minutes, as crazy as that sounds. Second round, Gurule's getting stuffed and looking sloppier. And then boom, gets clipped badly by a left hand. I think it was like a straight left, or maybe it was a left hook. Let me see if Tapology has it. Yeah, it was a left hook. Clips him badly with the left hook. Almost tries like a walk-off for a second. Apparently he said he didn't want to jump down there and wake him back up with shots like he did against Lazy Boy. And then the referee doesn't stop. I think it was Herzog in this instance. And then he jumps down there, starts brutalizing him with ground and pound. Gurule had every opportunity to try to survive. He just ended up face down, ass up, eating ground and pound from Osbourne. And Osbourne wins via second round TKO. Another Dana White's Contender Series fraud. The UFC and Dana White are signing guys every which way from Dana White's Contender Series. You know why? Because they require very little pay, and they can still fill out cards, especially at the Apex with them. Gurule is not the worst perpetrator when it comes to like Dana White's Contender Series frauds. I think he's actually decent. Not really that good, but that's what's happening here. And Osbourne gets it done via second round KO. And Osbourne probably saves his UFC career at this point because I think he was on a pretty big losing streak. Let me actually check real quick. Of course, it doesn't want to show me on Tapology from this perspective now. Okay, yeah, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. I thought he was on a 3-fight losing streak. So Osbourne probably saves his UFC career with this win. Very fast on the feet. Should have beat Lazy Boy. And gets a win over Louis Gurule. Gets it done. Brutal KO. So that's it for that fight. Next fight on the card, we have Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert. What do you want me to say about this fight? Gerald Meerschaert looks like he's stuck in the mud. I mean, he looks so slow. I don't know how he lands shots. He ducks down and throws the same double left hand over and over and over again. Brad Tavares butchering him in the first round. Lands 2 big right hands in the first round that kind of rocks Gerald Meerschaert. Meerschaert does a little bit. I mean, lands a couple shots, but not much. But then as the fight goes, Meerschaert starts to kind of build a little bit. Second round, he has a couple more moments, lands a couple left hands. Tavares landed the better shots. Dropped him with a leg kick in the second round. Waves him up immediately. Starts smashing him with big shots on the feet. I think it was a big straight right hand. Kind of hurts Gerald Meerschaert. Hurts him with a teep in the second round as well, but really doesn't follow up. Is brutalizing his body. Meerschaert just there, being tough, being slow as a turtle. Trying to throw that duck down double left hand over and over and over again. Brad Tavares clearly wins the second round. Then the third round, Meerschaert kind of gets a back position and then just holds onto it for like a ridiculous amount of time, trying to like trip him down and kick his legs out from underneath of him. And just in a clinch position, having his back, looking for a takedown. I think Beltran ended up splitting him up. And then Tavares really didn't do much on the feet. And Meerschaert had a couple moments. So I scored round 3 for Meerschaert. Honestly, after that, Tavares and Meerschaert should both retire. Meerschaert is like an old shitty DDP with less physicality. Somehow, man, even though he's shit, he's partially good. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand. He comes out there, he looks slow as hell, but Tavares looked much faster than him, and Meerschaert was still finding a way to land super predictable shots. Super predictable shots. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just Tavares is super old, but Tavares gets it done. Unanimous decision, clear win. I think even the judges had it 29-28. You could maybe give the third round to Tavares, but I would give it to Meerschaert just because not a lot happened and he had a good amount of control time. Next fight on the card. It was actually a really solid fight. We have Cortavious Romious versus Chung Ho Lee. Crazy, wild winging shots from both guys early. Lee ends up getting him down, but I think Romious ends up scrambling and ends up on the back. I mean, there were so many scrambles and submission attempts and you know, just weird things that happened in this fight. I'm trying to remember all of it. But I remember in the first round, Romious ended up on his back, but then got shaken off the top, and Chung Ho Lee ends up on top. And then Chung Ho Lee ends up getting his back, doing back shots dead. Not super impactful back shots dead. Like, he's kind of on his back. I think he had the body triangle in, landed some decent shots. Then eventually, towards the end of the first round, had him flattened out, landing big shots. And does a decent amount of damage. I think maybe even bloodies him up by the end of the first round. And then I think Cortavious scrambled out like the last little bit and then gets on top. Or no, he scrambles out, then ends up getting taken down right in the mount in like the last like 10 seconds. And Chung Ho Lee does some damage towards the end of the first round as well. So basically the entire first round was Romious kind of finding opportunities to scramble out and then ending up on the bad end of the situation, and Chung Ho Lee doing good ground and pound. And in the second round was the same thing. Second round, there was a nut shot earlier. I was a nasty step-in knee from Chung Ho Lee that I thought maybe Romious wasn't going to continue. He does continue. And then basically right after, he ends up getting a takedown, looking for an armbar, ends up falling off the top, on bottom, getting out scrambled. I think he got back up, but then he tries, okay, I remember. He gets back up after he looks for the armbar and ends up in a bad position. He ends up getting back up, but then he tries to jump on the back of Chung Ho Lee again. Ends up on bottom again. And then after that, Chung Ho Lee just takes the back, starts smashing him, flattens him out. Back shots dead, 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 back shots dead. Okay. And then eventually full mount, smashing him with elbows. Full mount elbows, just smashing him. Finally, the referee jumps in. It could have been stopped sooner. I liked what I saw from Romious. I know he got dominated. I know he got finished. But, man, he was looking for opportunities to take advantage of. It's not like he was just like, okay, I got to play it safe. This guy's better than me. Like, in the grappling exchanges, Chung Ho Lee was the better grappler, clearly. But Romious was looking for opportunities and like, yeah, I'm going to jump on this armbar. I'm going to jump on this, you know, this grappling situation and try to get the advantage here, rather than trying to just play it super safe. So I did like what I saw out of him. He was going crazy on the feet, slinging, looking for an exciting fight. Chung Ho Lee was just better. Was just better everywhere. He was the better striker, in my opinion, and the way better grappler. And it's like Lee would take risk because he knew even if Romious would scramble out, eventually Lee would find the opportunity to end up back on top. And when he did, he would rain down nasty ground and pound, whether it was from back shots dead or elbows from the full mount. And yeah, I mean, Chung Ho Lee literally destroyed him in that second round. But Romious was game. That's what I'm trying to say. Romious was game in this fight. So Chung Ho Lee gets it done. He beats him. He had a you know, a good support at the Apex. They were screaming craziness. And it was one of the better fights on the entire Apex card. Next fight on the card, the co-main event, we have Pat Sabatini versus Joe Anderson, Bree2. What do I say about this fight? I scored it 30-24. I am not kidding. I scored at 30-24. Essentially, Pat Sabatini dominated him for every second of this fight, imposed his will on him. Let me see. Does it have control time here? Let me see. I don't know. No, of course. The one stat that I kind of wanted to look at real quick. Listen, first round, Sabatini caught a leg kick, caught a body kick, I think it was, took him down immediately, dominates him, was looking for the Von Flue choke. There was one time where I think he gets up against the fence, and then immediately Pat Sabatini just slams him back down. And just, I mean, last minute, brutal ground and pound from Sabatini. Hammer fist, elbows to the body. Bisping, I have this as a note right here. I take a couple notes during these long fight cards so I can remember what's going on. Bisping, no damage as smashing. So I just take like only notes that I would understand. Towards the end of the first round, Sabatini's just wrecking him with hammer fist and elbows. And Bisping's like, yeah, I mean, he's not doing much damage here, but he's controlling him. I'm like, what? He literally looks like he's looking for the finish. This was towards the end of the round. I scored round 1, 10-8. Round 2, Sabatini went for a takedown right away, got stuffed. But then right afterwards, boom, takedown. Dominated him, good ground and pound, hard elbows. It was actually second round, the elbows to the body. Right at the end. And I could tell at the end of the second round, Brito didn't even want to continue. Then the early third round, I scored second round 10-8 as well for Sabatini. Early third round, Sabatini looked a little bit weird. He was kind of being sloppy and not super safe. Threw a couple like really slow spinning back fists, and I was like, oh my goodness, is he going to get countered? But he got a takedown like the rest of the takedowns. Brito was looking for a guillotine, but it was not there. Sabatini's giving the thumbs up just so the ref knows I'm good, even though clearly he was in a good position. And then basically gets his back and smashes him for the rest of the round. Back shots dead, back shots dead, back shots dead. I think it was for like the last minute. He was just back shots dead in him. You know, he's working from like side control and half guard. Eventually took the back and back shots dead in him for the last like minute and a half. And I scored round 3 at 10-8 for Sabatini. Round 3 was probably the most dominant round. Yeah, I'm thinking round 3 was probably the most dominant round. I pick flipped. My initial impression was to go to Brito. I pick flipped. I went with Sabatini. I'm like, you know what? Jonathan Pierce was dominating this dude in the grappling. Pat Sabatini can do the same. Pat Sabatini beat Jonathan Pierce. Brito is a bit overrated. And I think on Tapology, let me just see if I can look real quick. Let me take a victory lap on a co-main event Apex card pick. What an embarrassment that is. 90% picked Brito. 90% picked Brito. Sabatini made him his bitch. He needs to go down and wait. Somebody said that in my live chat. He needs to go down and wait. He had nothing to offer. Sabatini absolutely dominated him. Imposed his will. At one point, I mean, he just had his legs laced. The bottoms of Brito's feet were pointing at the sky at one point. If that's happening to you in a UFC fight, it's time to move a division or go into witness protection or get cut from the organization or go back to the Kentucky State Fair. I'm sure Brito would be quite the main event at the Kentucky State Fair. Just bring in like any dudes who want to fight for $200 in a funnel cake and let Brito KO. That's what essentially you can do. Pat Sabatini mauled him, destroyed him. I had a 30-24. I think only one judge had one 10-8 round. That's crazy. One judge scored at 30-26. I think the other scored at 30-27, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is egregious, actually bad judging. I mean, the right guy won clearly, but there should have been some 10-8s there. It was a complete domination from Pat Sabatini in the co-main event of the evening. Next fight on the card, we have Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy wins a very clean, unanimous decision. I think... let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I don't know if I can pull this up while I'm in the video. While I'm in the video right now. Let me see if I can pull this up. It's not going to be on screen, but I got to be able to pull this up right now. I mean, this was crazy. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I got it up. The judges' scorecard for this fight were absolutely insane. Ben Cartilage had 1-3 for Emmett. Eric Cohen had 1 for Emmett, and the other rounds for Murphy. Saul D'Amato had 1-5 for Emmett. I don't know what Saul D'Amato is looking at. I really don't know. I mean, he has 1-5 for Emmett. Let's go through it round by round real quick. Round 1's the only round you can give to Emmett. So if you give round 1 to Emmett, sure. It's a close round. Emmett got busted with a standing elbow. There was some debate whether it was a head clash or an elbow. I thought it was the elbow. It was hard to really tell. Emmett was pressuring, but not really landing a whole lot. Murphy had a couple good leg kicks. Emmett had a takedown off a body kick that he caught from Murphy, took him down. Right back up. Close first round. Could go to Emmett. I personally gave it to Murphy. After that, Josh Emmett really had nothing. Round 2, Emmett had a big slam. I know I just said he had nothing. Nothing but a slam. Round 2, he had a craziest slam where he picked up Murphy and like dropped him. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy slam. After that, there was nothing. After that, it was not. I think he actually landed a right hand right before the slam to get into the entry for the takedown. Murphy landing good body shots in the clinch. Landed good oblique kicks, pumping the jab. There was one moment where Josh Emmett's like holding onto a takedown and Murphy's kind of smashing him up. It was like a single leg he was hanging onto. More leg kicks from Murphy. Spinning back kick to the body I thought actually hurt Emmett in the second round as well. Murphy clearly won the second round. The slam doesn't win Emmett the second round. Third round, Murphy landed like 3 front kicks to the face. They weren't super powerful. Landed some good shots in the clinch, some good elbows every time Emmett would rush and he throw standing elbows. Emmett was looking for a takedown in round 3. He was getting smashed to the side of the head a bit as well. The oblique kicks were really kind of limiting Josh Emmett's forward pressure. There was a good hard body kick in the third round as well by Murphy. And then there was another takedown from Emmett as he caught a kick. But again, Murphy ended up right back up. And then as he gets up, lands a big elbow. Round 3, clearly for Murphy. Round 4 is the only other round you could maybe give to Emmett. There was a couple right hands that landed. I don't think they were as clean as the commentary was making it out to be. Murphy ate him, really didn't react to him, was landing good body kicks. Cut Emmett up on the back of the head with like some side of the head elbows that kind of, went awry towards the end of the round as Emmett was looking for a takedown. I thought Murphy still won the 4th round. And then the 5th round, again, if you scored round 1 and round 4 for Emmett, maybe. But the 5th round, Murphy whooped him. Hurt him twice with left hands. One time hurt him bad. Was landing the way better shots. Emmett was like rushing forward, frustrated, pointing at the ground because he was just getting outworked and really didn't have anything for Murphy in the 5th round. And I feel like there's been a lot of criticism for Murphy. I've seen an MMA fighting reporter be like, no one's going to talk about this performance from Murphy. You may be 16-0, but nobody's going to be talking about it on Monday. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Nobody's talking about an Apex main event on Monday, no matter who it fucking is. Anyway, the point I'm getting to is, was this like some barn burner? It wasn't a barn burner. 10 p.m. in Vegas. No, it wasn't. I don't think this was the greatest performance ever from Lerone Murphy, but let's be very clear. By the way, I scored all 5 rounds for Murphy, in case I didn't say that already. Murphy put on a masterclass against Emmett. Emmett had nothing to offer. Was it the most incredible Yuri Prohaska, Talita Alencar performance? No, it was not. It was not. But I think people were being way too hard. Man, he ran the whole fight. He did way more than Alex Pereira, and you guys were acting like he beat Ankalaev. Not all of you. Fair enough. We overgeneralize a lot of the times. I think Murphy did what he had to do. You can't brawl with Josh Emmett, man. You can't brawl with Josh Emmett at all. And I know people aren't going to like Murphy because he's kind of a decision merchant. And I get it to a certain extent. But you can't brawl with Josh Emmett. He will put you to sleep with that right hand. Murphy looked good with his takedown defense. When he did get taken down, he scrambled right back up. He made really solid adjustments and had a really good game plan and fight IQ going into the fight. When Emmett would come into the pocket, Murphy was really defensively sound. He was throwing that standing elbow that landed a couple times in the fight. He was using the oblique kick, which I could tell Josh Emmett absolutely hates. He thinks it's a dirty move. He was getting pissed. He was butchering him with the oblique kick. He was landing to the body. He was landing front kicks. Was he using his footwork a lot? Yes. But, I mean, Josh Emmett, all he does is plot forward. And he has crazy, ungodly power. Of course, you're going to try to avoid it. So I think a lot of people are going to shit on Murphy a little bit too much. But I thought it was a decent performance. Are we going to be talking about it on Monday? No, we're not. It's an Apex main event. I'm not going to be talking about it on Monday, no matter what. I'm going to forget this fight until the next time Lerone Murphy fights. But to put it on a veteran like Josh Emmett, and people acting like this fight is close. I mean, what is the MMA community anymore? What are the reporters? There were some reporters acting like it was close. I'm just seeing like a quick, reaction on Twitter. Like people are like, man, I don't know how this fight's going to be scored. What the fuck are we doing anymore? How can we not agree on basic reality? Murphy put it on him. He clearly won. If you thought Josh Emmett won, you were smoking crack. It's crazy. People were acting like Urseg won last week. People acting like Pereira won a couple weeks ago. What is going on? This is not reality. You guys really have these fighters' dicks so far up your ass? You're scoring fights for them that they clearly lost? What? I mean, seriously. So if you're pretending Josh Emmett won somehow, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Murphy didn't look the greatest, but he fought the way he needed to fight. I think he deserves a top 5 opponent next. Featherweight division is kind of dead anyway. After Ilia Topuria smoked Volkanovski and left the lightweight. There's some rumors of Topuria versus Oliveira that were apparently on the UFC broadcast, but we don't know the validity of them. People have come out and said it's not legitimate. I think it was on like a Spanish broadcast. Maybe that's just a telltale sign it's not officially announced yet. But anyway, Murphy gets it done. He gets the win over Josh Emmett. Overall, UFC Vegas 105, kind of a shit card. Not the greatest. By the way, if you stayed till the very end, comment banana split. But also, here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do if you stay till the very end. Did you watch the beginning? Vanessa Demopoulos, Talita, Alencar. I completely made that up. I didn't really watch that fight at all. That's the one fight I missed. I just made it up and over-exaggerated it just to fuck around. Comment down below, like, co-signing that fight. Like, co-sign. Like, yeah, man, it was a barn burner if you made it all the way to the end. I don't know about you guys. I haven't been as down on this Apex card as a lot of people I've seen in my live chat earlier. I think I just lowered my standards so low now for these cards that anything of mild excitement, kind of like, oh, okay, it's decent. I just feel like I'm watching prelims. Every Apex card feels like early prelims to me. So maybe I'm crazy. UFC's putting on too many events. Maybe the new broadcast deal, if they move to other, Netflix, Amazon, wherever they spread out, maybe we get some improvement. I would love less cards and better quality cards and less Dana White's Contender Series frauds and bums that are being signed for 5 and 5 contracts. But that's just me personally. So overall, didn't hate the card. Kind of a bummy card. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching.